continues to make a lot of noise on the Xbox side to bring in 2025. This is a big controversy. It started off this year by the developer from Game Science coming out and saying, hey, look, the Series S is the bottleneck that is preventing us, in so many words they said this, preventing us from releasing the game on the Xbox console. And then that in turn led to a lot of us in the gaming community going back to reporters that's doubled down on what Xbox was saying in 2024, that what was holding it back was an exclusive deal, a secret one with PlayStation, right? We went back to those reporters, said, hey, now the developer is contradicting you even further. Like, what say ye? For only the said publishers to then do a 180 and say, okay, uncle, we're not sure what's happening now, right? You know what I'm saying? One journalist saying, this is frustrating. I don't understand what's going on. We're not getting a response from Xbox. Okay. So instead of this being the end of the story and this thing starting to wind down, it's now getting additional life from the Xbox gamer, where the Xbox gamer now is conceding along with the journalists that there was a secret deal, but they're saying that no, the Series S isn't a challenge. It's, you need to get good, developer. You're bad. You're a bad developer. That's why this game isn't here. Stop talking stuff on our beloved Series S, right? And when we dissect this conversation where it's going now, I'm like, palm and face. I don't think that the examples that people on the Pro Series S side are putting out there is the flex they want to put out publicly. I'm going to try my best to explain, because I honestly am a novice when it comes to some of the technical stuff here. But with no further ado, let's do it. It's your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and here MM2K Gaming News, back again with another episode of the Quick Dose. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest in the video gaming sphere, and off the cuff, no script, I give you guys my analysis on it. With that said, before we go any further, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications. And if you've already rocked the bell or not, make sure you select all. YouTube is doing this new thing, I guess, for 2025. They're trying to retrain their algorithm. And look, I'm going to be transparent with you, and no offense to you, Google, YouTube, your algorithm when it comes to this regard is trash. You're not showing people the content that they want to see. Don't rely on their algorithm again this year. I would change it to all. They've done the same thing to me, and there's a lot of content that I want to see from the people that I follow that YouTube is not putting in my feed. So if you don't want to run into that same thing here, make sure that with this channel, and I recommend with any channel that you're following, you make sure that you change that bell to all right? With no further ado, let's get into this one. Here's what I want to do when I get into this one, and I'm sighing because as an example, I'm using someone I'm definitely cool with, right? It's a homie, the big homie or little homie, if you're going by age. It's the homie Doc Dark, all right? It's my homie. For those of you that are unaware, Doc Dark, I was introduced to Doc Dark through Stadia of all places. I heard him saying some things about Stadia, him being interested in cloud gaming. I'm being a big cloud gaming advocate. I sent him a Stadia unit, you know what I mean, on the house. He tried it, he liked it. He simply added it to the portfolio, which is what we were looking to do. You know, just get people exposed to it. And if they liked it, great. If they didn't like it, that was even greater, because then they could let Google know what was wrong with it, so it could be a better product for the masses. He ended up enjoying it. It didn't become his main way to game, but it became part of his gaming portfolio, which I think reasonably anybody that is an enthusiast of tech, that's all they want, is people to try it and give it a shot and not listen to noise on the periphery, right? So that was the beginning of our relationship, and we've been cool since then. We've done podcasts together. He graced us on a podcast that we have on the channel, and the episodes are still here. The podcast is called The Commission. It was me, him, shout out to Proper's Place and other people. We had a lot of fun doing that podcast. also, who else we had Project Storm on there, Bunny. We had a bunch of people coming through. You know what I mean? It was a great podcast. And we had fun while we were doing it. And then Doc has been on this channel. You know what I'm saying? So even though we dispute things, it's all in jest, it's all jolly or whatever. And I really was trying to figure out, did I want to use Doc as an example? Not because he would mind or I'm attacking him. It's just the message that I think Doc is giving. I think he inadvertently doesn't realize the echo chamber that might be fed here. What am I talking about? We're blaming the devs again. And we're blaming the devs in behoots to what we want as gamers. We're cutting off our nose to spite our face. We've already been here. We've done this before. And I'm talking particularly to Xbox gamers, and I'm talking to Doc too, Xbox gamers like Doc, who at the beginning of the Xbox Series generation, when the devs came out and told them, hey, look, we don't like this Series S thing. We were successful in getting Xbox to not do it at first. Then in their ambitions to try to have a cheaper alternative to the Series X, when they realized that xCloud wasn't going to be sufficient, they brought back Lockhart / the Series S. And now it's throwing a monkey wrench in our plans. When the devs were trying to explain this to gamers and said there would be long-term ramifications, you guys shot them down. And as an end result, not only were you missing games from these third-party devs, but to over-extenuate the point, Xbox developers themselves did not bring games to quality. Games like Halo were missing core features like co-op, and games are launching at 30 frames per second. And I know Doc is an advocate for developers getting better, but I think there might be a gap in foresight here to how this works. Do you really think that Xbox wants to launch games incomplete? Or did they put themselves in a peculiar situation with the Series S to where they can't sit there and wait forever to optimize a game? Maybe what the Black Myth Wukong developer said, that, hey, when you're trying to use these general engines and stuff like that, like UE5, it takes years of optimization, for a third-party developer, and even first-party developers are going to have problems. So you got to launch the game anyway. And as they launch the game and they get vital feedback from people that are playing it, that helps them do the optimization. And that's why you see 6 months later that the game, you know what I'm saying, then has a 60 frames per second mode. Trust me, as much as I kick Xbox in the ribs, they do not want to launch games at 30 frames per second. They put themselves in a peculiar situation, and this is why this happens. Larian Studios, one of the most accomplished developers out there, they had problems. It's the Series S, it's not just get good. But even though there's a mounting hill of evidence, people still rely on this, gotta get good. And we've heard this before in another generation. I'll get to that in a second. But here's what I'm responding to in regards to what Doc said. And it's not just Doc. I don't want to make it seem like I'm zeroing in on Doc, and I'm not attacking him as a person. Doc is the homie. And again, unlike other people who I think will just want to die on the hill of Xbox, I don't know if people in Doc's realm understand what they're doing here with this message. So here's what I'm responding to, and let's try to get to a bigger screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. There we go. All right, that's better. So Doc says, here's messed up my last post. Here's a clear one. Indiana Jones requirements and Black Myth Wukong requirements. Hint, Indiana Jones has a higher requirements, but it can run on the Series S. Clearly the developer's fault. Argue with your mama. We got ammo. All right. So here goes the requirements for Indiana Jones right here. As you can see, there's a requirement, and these are PC requirements, which again, there's differences between PC and console, but still. The PC requirements, 16 gigabyte of RAM. And then it has a higher requirement for the graphics card. I'll get into that because I talked to people about this and why this is. And again, I think there's a gap in foresight in regards to this and why this is even being used as an example, right? So, and then you go to Black Myth Wukong, which also has minimum requirements on PC for 16 gigabytes of RAM. And it actually has a lower graphics card requirement at 1060, at a 1060, right? And so that's the evidence that Doc is putting forth to say it's just a get good thing because these people were able to do it, and they require more on PC, and these people weren't able to do it. So I go into a lengthy rant on Twitter. I say, admittedly, I'm no tech expert, so I need you all's help here. Is it the system memory that's the issue here? You know, and it is the 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I've consulted people that have better knowledge on this than I am. It is the 16 gigabytes of RAM. But here's the difference, right? We have games built on entirely different engines, right? Where Black Myth Wukong was developed on UE5. We know UE5 is extremely taxing when you start using the technologies and stuff like that on UE5. Digital Foundry talks about this all the time, about how taxing those elements are. This was developed on ET 7, which is Microsoft proprietary hardware. So when they bought Bethesda, this was their hardware, and the latest iteration of it, ET 7, of course, would have been updated and catered to work with Xbox consoles, more so than UE5, right? Right. Okay. All right. So let's continue on. I say, then I imagine there's a variety of other things going on, which makes this not so black and white. Black Myth Wukong started development in 2018. And if you look, it's just simply looking it up. You can see that Black Myth Wukong started in 2018. And why I knew this as well is because when I covered Stadia and they were talking about cloud platforms that they would potentially go to, I remember a lot of us was like, yeah, I mean, what they're saying, Stadia's got to be included. So a lot of us on the cloud side, we've been following everything they've been saying. They've talked about how they wanted to primarily be on the most, there's a lot of things that they're trying to do technologically, and they want to be on the systems that run their platform the best. So they had a very high threshold of performance that they were going to settle for when they talked about that early. Right? And a lot of you would have missed it. Us on the cloud side, because we were just like looking to ensure that this thing came to Stadia, we were watching every single word. So that started in 2018. Indiana Jones, from my research, started development in early 2021, right? As of mid-2021, the game was in very early state of development. It was developed using the custom motor game engine on ID Tech 7, again, which is proprietary Microsoft hardware. Machine Games, again, they've built multiple games with Xbox. They have other games on there. They're now a first-party studio, and now they got a first-party proprietary engine that, you know, again, would be catered towards, you know, running more efficiently on Series S than likely other third-party attempts, right? Or third-party applications. So I continue on and I say, Game Science probably began building the game around the X capabilities in Lockhart, where Series S was reinstated. They decided not to cut back their ambitions, but try to optimize later. What am I talking about here? What do I mean Series S was reinstated? Well, if you follow our content, you would recognize this video that I have up on the screen right now, where I talked about several years ago. And again, people like Doc who are newer to this maybe weren't around when this happened, but that's why I say it's always important to do your research before we start doubling down and cascading things that we don't have full insight on. The Series S was not supposed to release. I repeat, the Series S wasn't supposed to release. And if you don't want to believe me, fine, don't believe me. Take it from Brad Sams from the Paul Thurrott think tank, one of the premier think tanks regarding all things Microsoft. Brad Sams handles things Xbox. several years ago, Brad Sams enlightened us and let us know that, hey, the Series S was already proposed at first to developers. Developers rejected it and was like, no, we don't want to do this because of the RAM and the things. It's going to complicate development. If you do this, we're going to build games to the capabilities of the Series S and only scale it up the best way we can to the Series X, meaning the Series X is not going to be utilized to its capabilities. Hence why, even though the Series X is stronger on paper, you're seeing a split between current gen games, how they perform on PlayStation 5 and Series X. I don't have a complete tally, but some may argue, without having that complete tally in front of them, that more current gen games, ninth generation games, may be actually slightly in the favor of PlayStation 5, right? It shouldn't be that way because of the power of the X. Well, guess what is the problem? People are developing for the least common denominator and then just scaling up. They're not using all the capabilities of the X. That was what Brad Sams tried to warn us about several years ago. What happened was, when Brad Sams first put that video out, he was viciously attacked. The same way that, honestly, people like my good friend Doc are viciously attacking those that are trying to say, hey, look, here is the problem. This is the issue. Brad Sams was viciously attacked after just trying to warn his contemporaries about what could possibly happen if Xbox goes down this road. And he unlisted the video. Lucky for us, we downloaded it before it was unlisted. And we discovered it a year later, and I did a video on it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this excerpt from my video, which is called, Did Brad Sams Already Expose the Xbox Series S Bottleneck Last Year? This video is 4 years old, but Brad Sams revealed this 5 years ago. If you get a chance after you watch this video, check that out. Here it goes. Here goes the excerpt in question. I'm going to shut up now and let you listen. What I'm going to do now, with no further ado, is play for you the clip from Brad Sams that details all this. So let's do this right now, and we'll talk about it on the back end.
That being said, here is what I have heard, and some other people have actually heard very similar things. First off, when you tell a developer to build a game for a next generation console, and there are two options, let's just say Lockhart and Anaconda, what you do is you build to make sure that it's going to run well on Lockhart and then scale it up to work well on Anaconda, because it's easier to scale up than it is to scale down. And so Microsoft was getting a lot of feedback from developers who have access to this information in the dev kit saying, hey, we're going to build for Lockhart and then we'll just scale it up and hopefully it looks good and hopefully it runs well and all that good stuff at 4K. And that is not what Microsoft wanted to hear. They wanted to hear, right, that you're going to have these great 1080p experiences and these great 4K. And developers like, look, we have limited resources. We're going to build for the low end and then scale it up because we know it will work on the high end. That is not what Microsoft wants to hear going into the next generation console wars.
So there you have it. They said they were going to scale up and not utilize the tools or whatever. You know what I mean? So Xbox, for those of you that remember, Xbox, when they went into, I think, XO19 or something, or XO18 it was, and people were asking about Scarlet, which was the code name for Series X. Lockhart was Series S, Scarlet was Series X. Remember, Phil Spencer said we're only talking about one console, because they kind of were on the path of, we're only going to release the Series X as a physical console. And for people that want a cheaper option into the generation, we're going to launch xCloud. That was their original plan. Then they saw Stadia, and they saw how better Stadia was, better performant that Stadia was over xCloud. And then they realized there's no way they can offer and sell xCloud when Stadia, it performs so much better. Jazz Gordon tried to put out a video trying to make comparisons of Destiny on xCloud versus Stadia. And no, he made an article. We actually put out a video debunking what he said to show you how more performant Stadia was to xCloud. And many would argue, even to today, even though Stadia's been dead a couple of years, Stadia still performs better than what xCloud does right now. Okay. So once Phil realized that, and he admitted that in the Fortune magazine video, when the Fortune magazine people said, interview said, why don't you just release this out of beta? Phil Spencer himself said, would you release that? In other words, saying this ain't good enough yet. So he knew that. So after they realized they couldn't use this as the alternative for people that wanted to get into 9th gen gaming, they then all of a sudden through Lockhart, which is the Series S, back on developers. So if you look at that timeline, and I think developers discovered that they needed to update they were bringing back Lockhart to Series S, and I don't think they realized that until 2019. Anyway, the message is that by this time, the developers of Black Myth Wukong, Game Science, they had already started development on their game. They have already filled out their scope, and they already started development on the game. And when the Series S was brought back into the picture, reasonably, they must have just said, okay, well, we'll just optimize for it later. I don't think they had any idea how much of a crap fest it would be. So they're building this game using Unreal Engine 5, right? Which is very taxing. And they're doing all this ambitious stuff. And again, very taxing, very ambitious. Hell, it's not like Black Myth Wukong runs like butter on the PlayStation 5. It ran like butter on the PlayStation 5 at launch. No, it didn't. So can you imagine, if the lowest common denominator that you're building for is the PlayStation 5 and it had launch problems, what the hell you think it's going to do on the S? And again, before any of this became an issue, Game Science had made it known that there was a standard of performance they were looking for before they released the game anywhere. And I think at the time, they just didn't realize that how underperformant the Series S would be. And why would they? If they likely started producing the game and started creating the game without the Series S even in mind. If we look back at the timeline in chronological order, okay? So with that said, let's go back to my tweet with in response to what Doc put out there. I said, so I imagine dev start time played a key role. Probably more so is the use of proprietary engine. With that said, it would be like telling third-party devs during the PlayStation 3 era, look at Naughty Dog. They're making great performing games for the PlayStation 3. Devs get better. That would never fly. That would never fly. And for those of you that don't understand, again, like my homie Doc, he may not, be aware of the circumstances back then. Remember, and I'm not saying he didn't game back then, but he probably did. He wasn't aware of or others in his camp who I think are not trying to be nefarious here. They're just not looking at this from 5,000 feet. I think they are not aware of the development challenges with the PlayStation 3. Remember, the PlayStation 3 had that the core processor or the core technology, whatever it was, and third-party developers was like, this is trash. They couldn't get games to run in a stable fashion. Multiplat games were running horrible at first. It wasn't until the last 2 years. Again, the last 2 years, that PlayStation 3, let's take a look. The PlayStation 3 generation, when did the PS3 launch? PS3 launched in 2016. 2006. It wasn't until 2011 did third-party devs finally, get their groove with the PlayStation 3. And the PlayStation 3, it wasn't like it was leagues behind the Xbox. So they had incentive. Listen to this. Listen to this, my friends. Listen to this, Doc. And all my friends who I think are inadvertently arguing something that you don't realize what you're arguing. The PlayStation 3, there was heavy incentive for developers to still put their games on there, because it wasn't like the 360 had destroyed the PlayStation 3 in the US. They weren't destroying them globally. They had a slight lead globally only because of what they were doing in the US. So developers still had heavy incentive to develop for the PlayStation 3, and they still couldn't optimize until 2011, 5 years into the generation. It took them until 5 years into the generation for a system that they had heavy incentive to develop for them to finally get it. We're talking about 4 years into a generation where there's a lot more bells and whistles happening in games than there was back then. A lot more complicated intricacies. You got over 2,000 developers at times. They're offshoring development to China and all these other places to help with these games and stuff like that. You have a lot more intricate things happening now than you did back then. And it took them 5 years to learn how to develop for the PlayStation 3. And it's just a matter of getting good. You know what I'm saying? Like if people just took the time to look at the history of things, I think they would get a broader scope of what they would argue or what they're arguing for before they hit the button send. The PlayStation 3 wasn't just a get good thing. And trust all the Naughty Dog games and the Insomniac games, those were of the best looking games of the generation, because the engines and everything that they were doing were catered around the PlayStation 3. Unreal Engine isn't catered around the Xbox Series S. All these other third-party engines are not so. Hell, even the tools that Xbox is using themselves aren't that proficient. Now, id 7 engine and and I've heard people argue this, like Maddie Plays, and check out Maddie Plays doc and others if you haven't. There's a bigger conversation going around the gaming community, the gaming dev community, where they're asking Xbox, why aren't you using this engine that you use for Indiana Jones? Why aren't you using this engine to develop your games? So I don't think it's a get good thing. This is an Xbox get smart thing. Number one, you have an engine Yo, what's up, people? We cut that just a little short. The video will be back tomorrow for you guys to check it out. But what's up, everybody? We wanted to get in here while the getting was good. What is up, y'all? Y'all are active in the chat. We got Cold Blood in the house. Cold Blood, how you doing today, good brother? Happy New Year to you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, y'all. You guys can't see us for some reason. It's Streamlabs being Streamlabs. So yeah, let me just super quick, because we're dealing with limited time and we got a lot of shit to cover. Because we got to be out of here by 4:30 flat. Like I can't stay a minute past 4:30 because my basement is flooded. So. And yeah, it's crazy out here. So I got to take care of that. And I had a schedule change, which explains why we weren't able to do shows at the same frequency that we've been doing them. So just, super quick. And I kind of explained this to the members, but yeah, I've had to come into work Monday through Thursday. Fridays are the only days right now for this week and next. And hopefully that's it, that I have, that I work from home. So hopefully, like I said, that's only temporary. We will keep everybody posted. I am trying my best to still create content around the small windows that I have. So hopefully, okay, there we go. Now it's showing us. Okay, so hopefully everything will get back in like a couple of weeks, but we'll keep you guys posted there. Meanwhile, let's go through the chat. Oh man, we got a great show for you guys today. Super quick. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. We got Navenzor, he says we in here. We got Phil Barr, salute everybody. We got Devil Shooter, he says, oh man, they going crazy. They go, oh man. Hey, look, they got to hold the fort, man. When you holding the fort and there's flimsy columns, you know what I'm saying? I'd hate to be having to hold that fort. It's crazy over there. Let's see here. What else we got? Who else we got up in here? We got Donald Cowie says PC has RAM and separated VRAM, where console RAM is mixed together. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Cold Blood. He's going to touch on that, on why. I kind of just tried from a high level, y'all, to just plead with my brother Doc, like, Doc, leave this one alone. You don't want to be on the side of people that are hate on the devs. And that's why I thought it was important to bring in the Brad Sams part. And shout out to Muhammad. I was like, how come nobody's reporting on this? Because everybody in this space, except here on this channel, they only operate in the 5 minutes and now. That's a big ass story. I was just talking to Cold Blood while we were offline. And here goes something else I want to show you guys real quick. We're going to get right into it. Shout out to everybody. Hold on. Let me just put this up here because we're going to start off with the Xbox news. And then there's something that I wanted to tap Cold Blood on because he has more experience on the technical side of it. But not that part. That's where we get to laugh at Jazz. Let me see. Hold on. That's another part where we get to laugh at Jazz. Where's the how everybody's like arguing and telling the devs need to get better. How soon do we forget that, like, me and Cold Blood was just talking, right? And what were those specs on Kingdom Come Deliverance 1? Or what are the Series S specs on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Cold Blood? I forgot.
It was 1080p, 30 FPS, no performance mode at all.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's the best they could do after optimization, right? Get good. Remember, this is a developer that has plenty of experience with Xbox. As a matter of fact, and Cold Blood may not be aware of this. I think he is because I talked about this on the show. Kingdom Come, the Warhead Studios, they're one of those studios. Now, I don't know if this is still the case, but they're one of those studios that last gen, because of Xbox's legacy last gen with RPGs, a lot of the developers and a lot of the PR, particularly in the States, they were Xbox fanboys. One guy, Rich, real cool guy, real nice guy though. He's never he's an Xbox fanboy, but he's never talked shit on PlayStation. He just was like, look, Xbox is my favorite. He was a regular on Xbox Uncut. I don't know if Will Sinks is in here. Will Sinks, remember it? Yeah, Rich was a regular on Xbox Uncut. Like the devs would go on an Xbox show and talk about their affinity for Xbox like crazy. So these are not PlayStation diehards. Now, maybe after they saw how many they sold on PlayStation, like how Bethesda was doing before they got bought by Xbox, maybe after seeing that, these motherfuckers are like, maybe our bread is buttered better over here. But no, all jokes aside, these are not Cold Blood Xbox fanboys. And look at this. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is being held back by the Xbox Series S. This is a pro Xbox developer who even they have to admit this thing is bottlenecked. You can't tell the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 people to get good. These people are in love with Xbox and they've developed on the platform before. What are we doing here? And before I turn it over to Cold Blood to like talk about why people are confused with the RAM and the VRAM and the shared memory. I do want to say this. Do I have it here? Where's it at? Where the fuck did I put it? I can't find it. Damn you, Moss. I had it. Oh, here it goes. Why do I have it all the way over there? Kudos to Colt. I'm gonna play Colt. What he had to say. Yeah, you know, we talk a lot of shit on Colt. And I fuck around with Mag and tell him, you know, ain't no hard feelings. Just, you know, we talk shit on each other. You know what I mean? But I gotta give kudos to Colt. I mean, yeah, I gotta give it to him. Why? Because while the Xbox fan base is doing the exact same dumb dog shit that they did at the beginning of the gen, blaming the devs on the orders of Matt Booty, right? Remember when Matt Booty started that shit? It's just, you gotta get better. Even though, like how I showed you, Brad Sams discovered 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he predicted this bottleneck. I mean, he didn't predict it, I'm sorry. He just simply listened to the devs and tried to tell y'all. And what did y'all do? Y'all shut him down. Famous podcasters. Now, they're cool now, but you can look this shit up. Famous podcasters from GTR. Now, I know what those initials are. Were on Brad Sam's neck. How do you know this? Don't say this, because everybody was brainwashing and believing that the velocity architecture was going to give them 90 billion frames per second and 40 frame deltas. So they all went and attacked Brad Sams. How do you know this? Brad was like, because I talked to devs. Did you talk to these people? No, I didn't. I believe Jason Ronald. Why would I talk to devs? You guys already did this to yourselves. You already stuck your wet finger in the socket. And you're about to do it again. Now, there are just some people, and we're going to talk about them, they are going to defend Xbox no matter what. But I am reaching out to people like Doc who don't understand how certain elements of this work. Pump the brakes a little bit and observe this before you give credence to that crowd that just wants to attack the devs for the sake of their favorite brand. I'm going to say again, I know Doc, you know, I don't think that's his goal. I think he unwittingly is fueling that fire for that group. I think he has a misunderstanding on the intricacies of development in this case, the complications and the nuance behind it, and he's unwittingly fueling that fire. But negligence is a thing. I'm driving 60 miles per hour and I don't see a stop sign and I hit someone. Did I want to hit them? No. But there was a stop sign there and I was supposed to stop. I'm still negligent. Negligence is still a problem. You don't get to, I didn't understand it. You don't get to walk away scot-free. So we're just sending an SOS for all of you that may unwittingly be fueling the fire of the cretin side that just want to blame the devs for the sake of their favorite brand. Do not follow the cretins. And here's what I got to say. In lieu of that,
now Game Science this week is saying
I got to give a shout out to Colt. Colt very easily could be fueling the fire, but he's not. Listen to what Colt has to say in regards to this issue.
Now Game Science this week is saying again that the Xbox Series S is a problem. Maybe the game would only run at 30, and if I was Game Science, I wouldn't want Black Myth Wukong running at 30 FPS on a console. But there are no excuses to give here. The Xbox Series S is limited by its RAM pool, 10 gigabytes, when the Steam Deck has 16. 16 gigabytes being mostly on PC, the minimum spec right now in modern games. Now Game Science this
Okay, so now that we've played that in Cold Blood, you've heard that. Here's where I want to turn it over to you and just simply ask you this. The people that are showing PC specs or Steam specs and saying, haha, game science is busted. This is why they're lying, because look at these specs. What is it in your eyes they're not understanding?
The shared part.
Say that again.
The shared part.
Oh yeah, share part. Okay, go ahead.
They don't understand that 10 gigabytes shared memory means that motherfucker has only 10 gigabytes for both VRAM and RAM. While a PC has VRAM on the graphics card and has dedicated RAM. If you're gonna compare it to a Steam Deck, the Steam Deck meets those requirements with the shared 16 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck are we even arguing about here? Explain that to me, Mons. What the fuck are we arguing about?
I don't know. Shout out, and again, shout out to Doc. Doc, if you want to come out here, if somebody drops a dime to Doc and he wants to come and explain his position, come on, brother. You know you're always welcome. You're welcome for the good times and the bad times. But my message is just purely from a sensible standpoint of, look, you're picketing with a group of people. I don't think you understand who you're picketing with. I mean, cold blood just kills the argument altogether, because from a technical standpoint, it's just not logical. And Colt agrees. Not that we need Colt to agree, but, you know, again, if you got Colt agree, if the day that Colt and cold blood agree, that's the day you need to listen. You know what I mean? But just, yeah. This is not. Go ahead.
Satya Nadella chat. I mean, yes, you are technically right, but it's more than just the memory itself. It is the fucking speeds and stuff that is different. So yeah, of course, a 20 series card with 8 gigabytes ain't gonna be as performant as a 40 series card. Absolutely. But that has nothing to do with what we are
discussing
right now.
Yeah
We are talking about literally just not enough memory to get that game to work stably.
Yeah. And what about
wait Doc already made an apology video, really?
Oh, he did?
Oh, I want to hear. I want to hear that, bro.
Yeah,
I want to hear.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would stamp us. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it.
No, I just want to hear the part where he says why he was. Why he's apologizing. I want to know that. Why would you apologize?
Yeah, I don't see it, unless he says Xbox. Sorry, Black. Yeah, I. Is it on Twitter? Is it on X or something? You guys, let me know. I don't see it. Because, you know, sometimes Doc will pull your chain. He'll be like, I'm sorry, man. And then he'll come out.
He said this morning, I think.
No, I don't see anything. I don't see anything from. I just see the only video that I see from Doc is where he says, and shout out for the new donation from Jax82. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, my good friend. No, the only thing I see is the initial video. Okay, so Jax82 says, been checking out your channel, just subscribing. It's good to hear a different perspective. I bought the Series S, recently traded it in for the X. The S has limitations and Microsoft needs to step in. Thank you very much, Jax, for that. Appreciate it, my good friend. There you go. We're going to put your comment on the screen. Well, thank you. We thank you. And that's what we're trying to do here. And I'll let Cold Blood chime in on that.
I have something to say about that.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
The problem is you can get the, what you call them, the experts from Microsoft to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
But they can only do so much with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, at some point, over optimization is gonna be hurting the game very bad. First of all, you're gonna have longer loading times. That's what happens most of the time if you have RAM issues. You're gonna have stutters, a lot of stutters. Your visuals are probably gonna suffer the most. Like, you can't put much in the RAM at all. So all these textures and shit, bro, they're gonna be fucking ass. So yeah, I think they can get it to work, but don't expect the Series S version to look anywhere near as good as the PS5 or the Series X version. Oh, and probably also 60 FPS ain't happening. Like, bro, it's struggling on PS5 to keep 60. So I don't think it's happening on the Series S, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing about it, Jax, is Microsoft essentially repeated the mistake that they made last gen. And that's why I look at leadership and I always pin it on leadership. I don't trust Microsoft. See, a lot of people get mad at us. They call Cold Blood and I haters, and they say you're just trying to grift or whatever the virtual signal, you know, whatever the latest term is for the month. And what they don't understand is that we're basing our analysis off of habits and patterns from Microsoft based off their current leadership. Like, simply put, you can't pay attention to what Microsoft says. You have to pay attention only to what they do and how they execute things. And they are the worst executors of anything I've ever seen in gaming ever. They just have the luck of having a generation where they made such a major breakthrough and actually was competitive versus Sony in the 360, and that still looms. Like at Microsoft, we can still do this. There's a crack in the shell of PlayStation. We can compete, or we can do something. We can outshine them somewhere. There was that looming. Now it's transferred to, you know, well, we wanted to buy games or studios in order to do that. And now they've hit the realization that, okay, we have these studios in order to compete with various other platforms, whether it was PlayStation or Stadia, Luna, whatever it is. Now maybe it's just best for us to just sell our shit everywhere. Like, it's like they're trying to figure it out every day. They don't have a vision. So when you have something like that, it's hard to get excited for anything that they want to do, and you shouldn't. I mean, if you do, you're taking a serious risk. That's like, you know, getting behind the wheel of someone that has like 13 DUIs on their belt during the holidays and saying, well, you know, maybe this won't be 14th. We'll get to where we got to get safely. Like, no, like if there's a pattern, you're like, and then they're sitting there, want me to take you home? Like, no, I'll walk. So we're not just saying this because we're trying to hate on PlayStation, try to hate on Phil. We don't like his haircut or some goofy shit like that. We're saying this because there's a fucking pattern of behavior where this dude has failed tremendously. And so I even realized it when this generation was starting and they were talking about doing multiple consoles. I knew it. I knew the Series S was going to be underpowered. And then I heard Brad Sams, who I played for you guys. I discovered the video. And I was like, my hunch was right. And then there were other things that were happening. I said, no, you know, this is not going to end up well. Shout out to Michael Morden. He says, yes, it's on his channel. The first video, it says Xbox Tax 2025 and Sorry Game Science. Oh, hold on. Let's see if we can find it.
Okay, I already get the gist of what he is going to say. He's gonna blame their inexperience. Which, okay, you can do that. Yes, it's a new studio, absolutely. It's their inexperience of having to think about let's just say it's a piece of fucking shit console, the Series S. They just did not anticipate that motherfucker to be so low. They probably worked with 16 gigabytes in mind from the fucking beginning as the minimum spec.
Yeah, well, even worse than that. Hold on, I don't think you guys are looking at things chronologically. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find my. Where's the tweet at? Okay, so the tweet where I respond to him. Oh, how come all my shit? Okay, here it goes. So the tweet where I respond to him is. Let's do web full. The tweet, Doc dropped this tweet 5 hours ago. Let's read the tweet again. He said, here's a clear one. Talking about he messed up his last tweet. Indiana Jones requirements and Black Myth Wukong requirements. Hint, Indiana Jones has higher requirements, but it can run on the S. Clearly it's the developer's fault. Argue with your mama. He said that 5 hours ago.
Okay. Moss.
Uh-huh.
Did you look at the date when they started development of both of them?
Yeah. Like, Black Myth was 2018.
One of them started.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before they knew what a Series S even was.
Mm-hmm.
Way before that. But the Indiana Jones machine games, bro, they knew exactly what the fuck they're gonna develop for.
Yeah.
So they already made sure that the Series S is gonna run that motherfucker. Like from the start, bro.
Like, yeah, and just so you guys are aware, this apology video was 18 hours ago. He made this post 5 hours ago. So again, you can't headline read when it comes to Doc because he likes to flip it on you. You got to actually read or watch the content. Yeah, but to Goldblood's point, yeah, that's what point is that? That's point number 2 that we made on our thread. It's like Black Myth Wukong started in 2018. Like Coldblood said, Indiana Jones started in 2021, mid 2021, based upon research. So they quite as well hell knew what they were getting with the Series S. And like we showed you with Brad Sams, developers, when they were told about the Series S, which was Lockhart at the time at first, they said, get the fuck out of my face, or we're going to scale up. And Xbox said, okay, we got you. Then there was a subsequent period of time where, and they used execs to float this out. one exec, I can't remember, I can't find the article, or I don't have it on me right now. But there was an exec that went out there and said, we're looking to launch xCloud with the Series X. So what was going to happen was, and if you guys remember around, I think it was XO 2018, if you remember when people were asking, hey, look, is this the only console out there? Phil said, we're only talking about one console. That's because they were on the side of only releasing the X. And if you wanted a cheaper alternative, you were going to do it through the cloud. That was their plan. Then they saw Stadia. That's when he panicked. He sent the letter to the staff. We got an immense challenge in front of us. And then remember, he did the Fortune magazine interview where Phil Spencer said, when a guy asked him, he said, why is fucking xCloud still in beta? Like, why don't you do this retail? And Phil looked him dead in the face and said, would you sell that retail? Like, motherfucker, please. We know this is some wet food stamp over here.
No, he said, would you ship that?
Oh, yeah, would you ship that? Yeah, would you ship that? Would you, why don't you just put it in, get it out of beta? Would you ship that? He's talking about his own product. He's telling you his own product is dog shit. So then they realize, okay, well, we can't sell this retail. So now they brought back the S, and I don't know if you guys remember the reporting. That's why I think people like Doc and others weren't around then. Don't remember they weren't behest to the reporting. The reporting showed that they sprung the Series S on developers at the last minute. They added it to the GDK, the Global Development Kit, at the last minute right before launch, and developers had to go back and then re-optimize for the S. And they started complaining. They started bitching and moaning about it. And when they started bitching and moaning about it and was going public about it, what did y'all do? Y'all did the same thing to them that y'all were doing to Brad Sams. Oh, this is horrible. This is trash. Oh, you guys lazy development. All you got to do is scale up. All you got to do is scale down. And now you guys are doing it again. So, it's on you. And as you continue to get piss poor experiences, and it don't matter if you're on console or not. It doesn't matter if you're on console. You got to see how all this shit is interconnected. What is the number one way you think Xbox is making money? You think it's PC? Do you think it's the cloud? You know what I'm saying? Just because you became a refugee and went to PC, you're not fucking safe. Why?
The most money? No, wait. The most money they ever made with any product was the Huggies. The Xbox Huggies.
Oh, so it's clothing. Yeah.
No.
But you refugees ain't safe. The money, all this effort, you got to pay attention to the business side of it. All this shit that's happening, it's being subsidized by the console game. That's why the console gamer's pissed off, because the console game, most of the money is coming from them. Most of the games that are sold on is the revenue being made is from the console. Why? Because any game that is sold, that is a first party game, 100% of it goes to Xbox. All of the DLC that's sold goes to Xbox on the console. Then multiplat games. Like when people like Doc and whoever, when they buy a game multiplat on Steam, Xbox gets none of it because they're buying it from Steam's marketplace. When you buy said multiplat from on your Xbox, Xbox gets a 30% cut. So we're talking about 100% and 30 versus 70% and nothing. There is more money being made on Xbox than the other places collectively. They're trying to change that. One of the ways that they're changing that cold blood, of course, is they're putting their shit on PlayStation. They tried putting their shit on PC. They tried putting Game Pass everywhere. That wasn't breaking ground enough. Now they're putting their shit on PlayStation, and they're looking at the sales of Call of Duty, for instance, 80% on PlayStation, and they're like, oh, goodness. What if we can get everything like this? They're trying. They're converting. But they haven't converted. They are converting. They haven't converted. Meaning the console activity is subsidizing all this. This attempt to make up ground elsewhere. That's why console gamers are mad. You're sitting there doing this over here and doing this over there. Meanwhile, you raised the price essentially for us to do Game Pass day and date on the console significantly. That's why console gamers are mad. So in other words, you're not safe. If console gamers simply say, fuck it. I'll give you an example. If just 30%, if 30% of Xbox console gamers stopped gaming on the console and went to Steam, that would be a seismic shift in the Xbox ecosystem. Why? Because overnight they would lose, again, all that 30% of Fortnite DLC, all that 30% of this and that. They would lose a lot of money, even if they were still on Game Pass. They would lose so much money. Then you got to take into consideration that everybody that's an Xbox owner doesn't have Game Pass. So if you had 30% that just abandoned Xbox altogether, they're fucked. Even if they were willing to play Xbox games on PlayStation, they're fucked. This has to be a gradual move. But if the move becomes seismic, if they shift in totality, oh, believe you me, you're still not getting $12 Game Pass on PC. And I'm talking to me in cold blood too. We're not getting $12 Game Pass on PC anymore.
I'm never gonna subscribe to Game Pass if I have to pay $12. I'm sorry. that will never happen in my life, bro.
Yeah. I don't go over $6. I did have to do $7.50 when Stalker came out. I did do $7.50 when Stalker came out. I couldn't find a cheaper code. But most of that money, and look, you ain't got to take it from me. Jazz Gordon put the numbers out there for you, or put the pie chart out there for you verbally. Most of the money being generated is based off of activity from the console. The console activity is subsidizing all this stuff. So you refugees that flooded to PC, you're not safe. Because if this thing collapses on console too fast, you're fucked. You're fucked. And you'll be over here with me and Cold Blood playing on PlayStation, whether you like it or not. Either that or you I don't know what you'll be doing. So don't think you're safe. This has to be a gradual move. Too much of a seismic shift anywhere, they're screwed. Because how are they going to explain to their investors, okay, one moment you guys were making 18 billion and now we've had this seismic shift, and instead of gradually going up, you went down to like 15 billion. That would be horrific. You went from 18 billion to 15 billion, and you still got this $75 billion bet in your back pocket from ABK. Well, I'm not even going to touch that. That's a whole nother podcast, and we're not going to do business moss today. All right, but again, You guys aren't safe. You got to understand you're being subsidized by the console people. That's why the console people are going fucking nuts. What else do we have here? Oh, let's go. Speaking of jazz, shout out to Jamie's Act. He says Xbox folklore hero blogger admits that Microsoft only suggested it. He had to guess. He thinks the solution might involve delivering the Series S version on the cloud. Where have you heard that before? Why talk about any of this if Sony had to deal with Black Myth Wukong? So we talked about this in our video, Cold Blood, yesterday, where we said, look, man, none of us knows what 100%, but I think it is comfortable in saying, you know, I'm very comfortable in saying that there's no back deal without me knowing 100%. There's just too many signs, too many patterns. It just doesn't make any sense for Sony. Sony clearly doesn't give a fuck about the internet. We'll tell you, as you know.
Look, if Sony funded any of this game
Mm-hmm.
and made an exclusive deal with them,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing they would do is announce it as a console exclusive
Immediately.
Like, bro, the next fucking State of Play that would have come out after that deal, bro,
Like, come on, man.
console exclusive. Fuck
Come
you,
on.
Xbox.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. It's a console exclusive by default.
By default.
Because Xbox didn't show up.
Yeah.
Or they couldn't make Xbox show up. It's not that fucking hard. Like, what are we doing here? Now they're saying the developer is lying. What you think they would risk a fucking lawsuit
Mm-hmm.
over lying about fucking Xbox, the least relevant console?
Yeah.
Bruh, come on. What are we doing?
Yeah. Here's what because this is, again, too many people are hitting send Cold Blood and they're not thinking this shit through, right? So one of the arguments that they were starting to concede, Cold Blood, was they were saying, well, it's not a typical deal. Like even Digital Foundry, look, man, not trying to be mean to you guys, and I love Oliver. Oliver's great. Oliver, really, I think that you're hamstringing yourself by being at Digital Foundry. Oliver, I think you need to pick up the phone, call Mark Cerny and say, Mark Cerny, you need me working with you to better help you understand how you need to communicate this technical shit to the gaming brass instead of you relying so much on Digital Foundry. Let me be that mouthpiece or whatever. But that's here nor there. Digital Foundry, do yourselves a huge favor. Before you try to journey into the Jeff Grubb, Jason Schreier world, get people that are good at this. Do not try to cover leaks from Xbox for clicks. Like, this is profoundly embarrassing, even for you. Because Digital Foundry was up there too. Well, I guess what happened, this is not the typical deal where, you know, it's not the typical exclusive deal, because probably what happened is it's challenging to optimize for the Series S. So PlayStation came in and said, well, you know, you're having trouble optimizing, so we'll give you some money to optimize for us. Just don't release it on Xbox. No, that doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't it make any sense? Because if Game Science was having problems developing for the S and PlayStation swooped in and resolved the problem and helped them release it on the PlayStation, do you not fucking think that Herman Holst or the CEO over the hardware would be gloating over that shit? You really think they're sitting there saying, no, Kid Smooth is going to eviscerate us. We can't say this. They're going to make fun of us on Twitter. Do you really think that? Did anybody pause and think that Sony gave two fucks, even if they swooped in at the last minute and had an exclusive deal, that they wouldn't promote it and gloat over that? Look at that. These guys were having problems over there. We came in with money, with devs, and we bolstered their abilities over here. They wouldn't gloat over that. It's just stupid on the premise. It's so fucking dumb.
Moss, the only scenario I can imagine is they had the PlayStation engineers on deck immediately. Made sure that motherfucker is gonna run at launch.
Yep.
But no goddamn deal whatsoever for exclusivity. It's all on Xbox, bro. It's all that dumbass parity clause.
Yeah.
Like, did we not learn our lesson with Baldur's Gate 3? Did we not learn that? The Series S can handle fucking split screen. So we gonna try to optimize it and delay it a month. In the end, Series S does not get that mode. What the fuck?
Look at your screen. Look at y'all screen. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is being held back by the Xbox Series S. This was a conversation with the devs who, again, are Xbox fanboys, a lot of them. Black Myth Wukong, they're not fanboys. They got a game that they think is the shit, and they want the world to know about it. You saw them, they were belly aching because they didn't win Game of the Year at the TGAs. And they told you years ago there's a certain threshold of performance that they weren't going to go under. So to Cold Blood's point, PlayStation just swooped in and said, hey, we're getting close to launch and we think you could do a little bit better. Here goes some money. What else do you need? And they probably said, well, okay, well, fuck it. We're going to put all of our best devs on this shit. That includes the people working on the Xbox version. And Xbox probably heard, and this is where, again, Cold Blood, I don't know why they don't listen to us. I don't know why they don't listen to you when you catch the shit in advance.
Wait. Will Broke Boy Lewis, yes, you are right. They said that. Absolutely.
Oh, come on, man.
But that was just more fucking work, bro, for them.
Yes.
It didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And now that other devs that can get it right because they're not as experienced, bro, they're not launching that motherfucker. That's the problem that Xbox has. They're not launching shit on there. Because the Series S can handle it.
Yeah.
Or they can handle the optimization.
Yep. Shout out to Glassdoor Gamer with the $2. He says November console sales estimates: PlayStation 5 4.1 million, Xbox 700. I'm gonna be honest with you, Glass, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm surprised that Xbox even is selling that much. Because Xbox is telling you you don't need one. And they're trying to convince you that sports and sports bras is or Xbox is like, who are buying these Xbox consoles, Cold Blood? Who and why?
Microsoft for the server blade.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. At this point, yeah, they're counting the chips they're buying from AMD and shit for the server blade. No, who is buying these Xboxes? Who? Fucking who? Look at your screen. I wish Will Sync was here, man. Or I wish Tim Dog was here. They'll tell you. Devs from this company. Warhead Studios used to be on Xbox podcasts. That's how much fans they were of Xbox. Not on PlayStation, Xbox podcasts. Oh, yeah, that's our favorite console. Even they've had to come out and admit Series S is a bottleneck. You can't tell them to get good. They got an exuberant amount of experience with Xbox. And what do you say to 343 Studios who, what mode was that? They had to launch the game without co-op or some shit like that? They gotta get good?
Yeah, like, that's what I said. Even after all the optimization and all the fucking talk about how they did such a great job optimizing it, it's still a caveat version of the actual game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they had to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about the performance of that game. Motherfucker, stop.
Don't even do it. Oh shit. Can I let me read this real quick, Cold Blood. Again, as reported by Czech website Zing.cz, producer Martin Klima revealed that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was affected by hardware limitations with the Xbox Series S console. The main cause of the issue boils down to the Series S's, imagine this, 10 gigabytes of RAM, which affected how large Kingdom Come Deliverance could be. I want y'all to listen to this fucking part. While the sequel is larger than the first game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 could only be roughly 25% larger than the original title. The Xbox Series S is one of two next-gen consoles offered by Microsoft, with the Xbox Series X being more powerful. So in their interview, they hinted they wanted to do more, but they had to limit how much larger it could be to only 25% because of the Series S. And this is with them knowing what they were dealing with fairly early in development. As we showed you earlier, Black Myth Wukong developer Game Science started development in a time period to where, people didn't know exactly what they would be able to output, or at worst, the time period where Xbox would have told them, courtesy of what we learned from Brad Sams, oh, okay, we've changed our mind. We're not going with Lockhart, aka the Series S. So Game Science could have said, oh shit, well, we ain't got to worry about this. Yeah, 16 gigabytes of RAM, minimum spec, here we go, or whatever the case may be. And they weren't willing to scale back because they were going for something epic. You guys can argue this in favor of Xbox all you want. Like, all of your Xbox aficionados that you guys suck from the teat of, they're backing away from this. Jazz, Paul Tassi, even Colt. They're all telling you, leave this one alone. You can die on this hill if you want to. You can die. And shout out to who was that Will Broke Boy Lewis. Will, I talked about this last year. I gave the scenario last year where you say they found more optimization. Say you go on a vacation trip with your family. You guys are driving somewhere to a particular county or state or city or country, whatever it is, right? Say you're driving around and you're like, fuck, gas here is expensive as shit. It's fucking expensive here, man. Holy fucking cow. It's like, what, I don't, $20 a gallon or whatever. And I'm just coming up with something ridiculous. But then you find a gas station. You find one particular gas station, like buried behind some woods somewhere. No lights or wherever, where the gas is actually cheaper than the average. but you had to drive hours to find it. Do you then get to say, oh, you know what? Gas in that place isn't so bad because after driving around hours and wasting money and wasting vacation time, we end up finding a gas station hours away from our destination. But we did end up finding a gas station that was actually cheaper than the national average. You don't get to make that argument. Just because they found some type of optimization they can use across the board. Look at how much time they had to waste. Look at how many resources they had to go through in order to do that. When if it wasn't for the Series S, the game would have just been fine without that extra optimization. It would have been more than fine without the extra optimization, and they wouldn't have had to waste the time and the resources just to squeeze out that little bit more juice. Guys got to stop making excuses for these companies.
Yes, of course. If you just want to play COD and Fortnite and all that, the dog shit, sure, the Series S is just fine for it. Yes, you can play it, but our problem is it's holding back development for the games we want.
Yes, exactly.
It has nothing to do with cheap entry into gaming. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, bro, we both got a PS5 Pro, so yes, we don't give a fuck. I mean, I got a fucking gaming PC, so I definitely don't give a fuck. If I like what I see, I'm gonna buy it. What I don't like to see is literal piece of shit. I'm sorry, if you got a Series S, whatever, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that piece of shit is holding back gaming, not just for Xbox, unfortunately. Like we see with Kingdom Come Deliverance right now.
Yes.
It's holding back it for everybody.
Look at your screen. Will, just look at your screen. There's a reason why I didn't change the slide. Look at your screen. Your argument, Will, would hold weight like Cold Blood alludes. It would hold weight if Xbox said, here goes our console for the less demanding games. So for the Call of Duties and the this and then the Fortnites and all that shit.
The free-to-play box. If they called it that, I'd be just fine with it.
Exactly. We wouldn't. There would be no discussion. You're absolutely right. But that's not how this is. That's not the business model around this. The business model is every single game that's being developed has to also work on the Series S. Meaning the S has to be considered during development. Meaning if something is too far a scope for the S, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you have to limit your aspirations. Now, me and Cold Blood as AAA gamers spending $700, $800, whatever it is for the Pro, spending whatever we spent to upgrade or to put our PCs together. I don't want my big bang out AAA games using Lumen and Flumen and all this shit. I don't want it. I don't want the scale minimized. Do you understand? If this was their, like you said, games as a service box or the free to play box, fine. If you want to play Roblox or whatever on Xbox, all you got to do is spend $300, man. Fine. I would never talk about the Series S. Never. But that's not the case here. It's affecting everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, he gives a valid reason why he got a Series S.
Yeah,
he got it for his kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't care. Like, sure. But I do care about the games that are actually next gen and want to push the fucking limits of next gen and can't because the Series S
Because of the Series S.
like literally last gen, not even really better than the 1X. Like, what are we doing here?
Here's the crazy thing too, is that, and this is where I blame leadership. Phil Spencer, you can argue for Phil Spencer last gen. He walked into a situation where they wanted to use that SRAM, and that was a Donnie D, I forgot the old CEOs of Microsoft. That was their decision. That was out of his control. So when they finally developed and rolled out the Xbox One X, he couldn't make the Xbox One X a separate machine because it wouldn't be a mid-gen refresh. It still had to play those games that were developed with the SRAM in consideration. So that kind of held back the Xbox One X. Not his fault. But after going through that experience, why would you duplicate it with the Series S and the Series? That's the point. That's even worse. You've already seen the consequences of having a less powerful unit that bottlenecks the gaming experience. Why would you replicate that scenario? Why would you do that? And then, like we said, Phil single-handedly held back gaming. Do you guys realize how much more capable games could probably be if it was just the Series X and the PlayStation 5 out there? Now, before we move on, I do got to get cold blood stats on this because this is this part is comical. And this is something that nobody else is discussing, but we're going to talk about it here. So, and I'm going to get to your comment in a second, Donald Cowarth. But I got to ask my brother this, and I promise I'm going to jump right to it. Now that we know we're pretty confident in saying this. Now that we know that Game Science didn't have a secret deal or all the signs point to it. You got Jazz backing off from it. Paul, this is frustrating. Oh. And everybody's backing away from that.
Why are we even entertaining the possibility of a secret deal? Like, what does anybody gain from it?
I know. I don't know.
What would Sony get from this besides not getting flamed by Xbox people and PC people? Well, not really PC people because they get the game. But from Xbox people, why would they give a fuck about their opinion?
Mm-hmm.
It would be even better thing if they announced they got a deal with them, because PlayStation people would be even more excited for it.
Oh, exactly.
So that's dumb. Don't even entertain that for a second. It's stupid. Nobody gives a fuck about your hurt feelings, bro. Definitely not Sony. What the fuck?
So now that we know this, I want to know your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Let's pretend you're Game Science. You had this big ambitious game. You know the Xbox is spiraling, but you still wanted to develop for it. And it just became too bottleneck for your ambitions, but you still were going to give it a try, even though we've talked about, like, really look at the success that they have. Do you think that they couldn't tell they were going to be ultra successful without Xbox? They do it, but they still were going to give it a try just so they wouldn't alienate that player base. And even though you're still giving it a try, now all of a sudden you got Xbox executives dropping notes to journalists and besmirching your name and backstabbing you. So here's my question to you. How would that make you? Well, what if you were gamer science or game science? How would you handle your relationship with Xbox going forward? And better yet, fuck just being game science. If I'm another developer watching this shit, how would them or game science handle their relationship with Xbox going forward if you were in charge?
So do I get to talk to Phil?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get, yeah. Yeah. That's the best part. Oh shit. Yeah. You get to talk to Phil. You're on the phone with Phil.
Okay. I would first ask him. Please explain exactly what you mean by we don't know about any deals without a partner.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly did you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
And if his answer is, well, we don't know if you had a deal with PlayStation, I would tell him, no, motherfucker, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
You better clear that shit up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because our image is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
On your goddamn platform, of all things, for saying that dumb shit.
And we're not even there.
You better clear that up, or
yeah.
Why the fuck we even bother putting our shit on your console?
Mm-hmm.
And if he is not gonna act on it, well, there you have your answer. They don't give a fuck about your game, so why would you release it over there? And that might even be the case, Moss. That might be a fucking tinfoil theory, but that might even be the case. They might feel betrayed by them for saying shit like this and not clarifying it afterwards, what they meant by it.
Yeah. Yep. They've already. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
They've already alluded that they've already been emotional, for crying out loud. Like, they were already emotional about not winning Game of the Year, right? So now they're reflecting a lot, and this is, like you said, why even mention it? But this is probably why it came out. And like I said in the video, if there's an exclusive deal, whether they want it to be secret or not, one of the pillars of an exclusive deal is you don't reference the competition unless you have to. They didn't have to say this. Think, so that's just another check mark. But anyway, like you said, we shouldn't even entertain it. But I don't think it's tinfoil at all. I mean, it's not proven. It's our analysis, but I think it's very plausible. If I'm games, imagine this, y'all, an Xbox gamer, take off your fucking, you may have infused it to your face, but take off your green bandana if you can, or just cover it up and just act like a normal consumer for 1 fucking second. Just let's just do it. Michael, I promise I'm gonna get to your question. I'm sorry. Give me a moment. Pretend you're a normal consumer that cares about the devs and try to put yourself in the shoes of gamer science. You're seeing, you knew all the success that you're seeing without Xbox. You knew it. You knew that you didn't need Xbox. But because you're passionate gamers and you want to reach everybody, whether you need to or not, and you don't want to burn any bridges, you still work towards the Series X and the Series S version, even though the Series S is making you pull your fucking hair out. Even though you don't need them. And amidst all of that, the fucking even the CEO of Xbox, Phil, is playing these word salad games with Steven Totilo. Everybody is alluding that you got a secret deal. Imagine how that would make you feel if you were at Game Science. I'm going to tell you what I would do. And I'm known as a hothead. That's why I had to step away from managing and work on special projects, because I was starting to get like, I can't take this shit anymore because you motherfuckers are stupid. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I get on the phone with Phil and I would be like Cole brought up a great introductory point. I would say, Phil, just out of curiosity, because we can't go any further unless we establish this. What led you guys to believe that, well, no, first and foremost, this is how I would phrase it. I would say, okay, we want to bring this game to your platform, and we got some ideas of how, when we bring it to the platform, how we can add some pizzazz to it. We really think it would bolster sales and stuff like that. We're even willing to allow this game to be played on the cloud, which would help your cloud efforts. But I got to have a conversation with Phil, and Phil, when I have this conversation with you, you got to make me feel comfortable about several big points. They couldn't help but jump all over that. Thank you for the sub. We appreciate it. Thank you, Rasta Docs, I believe it is. Thank you very much for that sub. I would say,
Moss, if I was the Game Science, I would tell Phil, let me speak the truth, and I promise you, we're gonna deliver that game.
Mm-hmm.
Just so people can fuck off. Mm-hmm. Finally, with the actual answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, bro, this whole I'm gonna say it on some social media thing,
mm-hmm.
that ain't enough for some people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They need to be told in a official manner,
mm-hmm.
like in a fucking video, the statement video by the developer. But I think Phil says, nah, we don't want the Series S to look bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably
mm-hmm.
what he says.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want it to look bad. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it, because that goes back to Baldur's Gate 3. Remember how he went on what was that, Summer Games Fest or something he went on, and he threw Larian under the bus. Or what? No, it was Gamescom 2023 Gamescom. He tried to throw Larian under the bus. That's when him and Matt Booty was talking that goofy dumb shit. The devs just got to get better. Larian's like, oh, we got to get better. I bet you Sven called that motherfucker up on the phone and said, okay, I don't like what you did. The game's not fucking coming here unless you drop split screen requirement on Series. You drop the parity for us, or we're not coming. Fuck you. And Phil probably said, oh, okay. Like, fuck you. I'll make the fucking announcement tomorrow morning. We've changed our mind. The game isn't coming to Xbox. The game of the year of 2023 is not coming to. I will change my fucking mind. And then that's where, out of nowhere, like you said, Phil still got to hold himself from the embarrassment of the admission that Series S was the problem. But they just dropped the requirement, and Larian got to announce it. Guess what? You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, if I'm Game Science, and you got a good enough representative, because I understand there's a language barrier and all other stuff, got a good enough representative, I would say, I want to know where you came to that conclusion from. I want to hear it from your mouth. And okay, now that you've given me that reason, here's what I need you to do, or we can't move forward at all. We're going to release a joint statement. And we are going to say that we deeply apologize if any of our former communications have alluded to any nefarious actions or any unscrupulous actions or anything like that. Xbox is fully committed to ensuring that Black Myth Wukong comes to Xbox, and we are lending our help to ensure it to happen. And once that time comes, Gamer Science and us have some cool things to announce. We deeply apologize what we said, and we retract our former statements. And I would say, and if you don't say that, then we're fucking done. And then as gamer science, I would just commit to say, you know what, I'll give you what you want. If you don't want me to shit on the Series S, I won't mention the Series S no more. If anybody asks what's wrong with Black Myth Wukong, we'll just simply say that we're working on getting it to Xbox as soon as possible. That's all we got to say on the matter. But you're going to retract that shit. You retract it?
They said that. Wait, they said they're gonna release it as soon as possible, but what is as soon as possible at this point?
Well, as soon as they figure it out.
Yeah. 2 years, like you said, they need at least 2 years of learning how to optimize for that shit.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, who knows? I mean, unfortunately, on their behalf, it's not as simple as it's not a split screen co-op thing. You know, if it was just about a feature, you know, you will have more indication of a sooner indication when you can do it. I mean, the only thing that I think they could do to speed this up, Cold Blood, and Jazz Gordon alludes to this, but we've been saying it for years here, is I think it's time for the Series S to become a stream box for certain games. They already talked about that scenario during launch. Like, you know, the development of the Series S is going to lead to it becoming, you know, a stream box as game. You know, the time is now. Make it a stream box. Make it a stream box. Now, they don't want to open the floodgates of developers just saying, well, I don't, you know what I mean? Here's what I would do. Give them a bigger cut of their game. Say, if you release a native version on the Series S, instead of you getting 70%, we'll give you 75, 80% if it's that important to them. We'll give you a bigger cut.
No,
but otherwise,
no. bro, we established already. Microsoft is done losing money with fucking Xbox. They're not gonna do that. They'd rather have the developer crunch for the next 2 years. Then pay them 5% more, bro.
Well, do it in reverse. Make it, give them only say, well, you could release a cloud only version, but you're only going to get 60%, which, you know, that would be equally as destructive.
that would be suicide for that box.
Yep. Michael Morden, you want to know how to upgrade, because you're gifted. Just go to join, hit the join button. And then it, you know, once you hit join, it should give you some tiers that you can select.
No, I think he has to wait till the gifted one expires, right?
Oh, okay. You might have to do that. I'm sorry. You might have to do that.
That's what I was thinking. You gotta do that.
Yeah, that might be what you have to do. I don't know. I mean, you could try it and see if you hit join now, if it'll let you. YouTube is so ass backwards. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, give it a shot. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on with Xbox. This whole Black Myth Wukong thing is an embarrassment, and hopefully everyone's learned their lesson. And again, I would caution that if you are one of these Xbox gamers that are like, the problem is get good. Understand what you're arguing here. Like I said, all the people that fed you that BS earlier in the generation that would even have you talking like that, they're backing away. You know what I mean? The people that made you think that way, they're backing away. That says a lot. I would follow their lead in this case. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, that's it for the Xbox news. Let's now go to the PlayStation news, Cold Blood, and man, oh man, do we have like very interesting set of events here when it comes to PlayStation. So PlayStation, well, Herman Hulse, your favorite CEO, talked about some things that they're looking to do, their new mission statement going into 2025. And in it, he talks about still that PlayStation would still pursue games as a service, right? And there's some other things that they talked about too, that, you know, the console will still be the core of their experience, you know, and that they're still going to try some shit, right? Like, let me pull it up here on the screen. They're still going to try some shit, where, like, going forward, we'll continue to focus on developing live service titles along with story-driven player titles that our players want. Which is crazy because the way that's worded, they're admitting that their players don't want games as a service titles. But we are learning a lot. Oh my God. We are learning a lot as we establish the ability to develop high quality live service titles with SIE. Helldivers 2 attracted many players through continuous content provisions and achieve results that support the potential of live service titles. There was this part, though, I can't remember. I don't know if you remember it better than I do, where they're talking about they're going to explore. I think this is our extensive IP portfolio is an important asset for PlayStation. And as part of our efforts to strengthen our portfolio, we continue to explore opportunities to leverage our legacy IP as we develop new franchises. So, yeah, some of that feels more questionable. Like, number one, your continued pursuit of live service games. And then secondly, when I hear leveraging IPs, I think of the dog shit that you pulled with Horizon Lego, the dog shit that you're letting this Tencent game that's a complete ripoff of Horizon happen. I think of stuff like that. Now, again, I think there was good and bad mentioned here, but I do want to focus, and the good is just simply them just saying that they're going to continue making the single player narrative games and the console is the core. I mean, that's good, but
I wish you would say at least 3 a year. If he said that, I'd be fucking happy. I wouldn't give a fuck about the live service.
The live service stuff, yeah.
But
yeah,
right now,
yep.
Right now you got Ghost of Yotei. What else?
Yeah.
Is that our only narrative game for the whole year? The rest is gonna be fair games. And what else they got going on over there? I don't know, but fair games. That's gonna be our game of the year, bro.
Yeah.
No, buddy, it has to be more than that. You better have the Naughty Dog game ready for the end of the year. I'm telling you, bro. Like something.
Yeah. Jax 82 says Death Stranding 2, but I don't even know if is Death Stranding 2 going to be exclusive anymore?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But okay. That's not what I meant, Jax. I meant first party studios.
First party.
Yes, sure.
First party,
Kojima could be considered almost first party at this point. Like
yeah.
He releases shit first on PlayStation. But that's not what I was talking about. Yeah, and it's gonna be a timed exclusive. Like it's coming to PC eventually. Oh yeah, Marathon, right? Marathon.
Yeah.
The unwanted child from Bungie. Right.
And I don't think that's even. I I think they're pushing that back.
I think so, yeah.
You know, all that deconstructing they're doing of what's it called over there. I think they're pushing that back.
Old man, bro. that's wishful thinking.
What did I can't see?
After that Insomniac league, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Wolverine is coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
I think that they are gonna scrap almost everything that was leaked and start from the beginning. Not everything, but a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2026 and beyond is where you're gonna get Wolverine probably.
Yeah, I do think 2020. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, 2026 maybe the earliest, I would guess. But yeah, if they scrap everything, then we might not get it to 2020.
And Sony knows exactly when GTA 6 is coming out, so they're definitely not gonna release anything close to that.
Yeah.
Because they know, they fucking know.
Yep. Absolutely. But what do you? I mean, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it is kind of vague. It's hard for us to gauge it. I mean, does any of this makes you nervous or make you concerned at all? Of what was said?
Actually, I didn't hear much about we're gonna double down on third-party exclusive deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like he completely forgot what carried him this whole fucking year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like 2024 was a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Not because PlayStation released shit.
Yeah.
It's because they got carried by a lot of other developers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they released Astrobot, the Game of the Year for Game Awards, sure, but sales-wise, it wasn't a fucking big hit for them. Like, it was probably successful enough for what it was. But Concord gave them such a fisting, bro. Up the ass. Like they really thought they're gonna carry the whole year with Concord, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's craziness to me. That he doesn't even mention that all the great third-party deals that we had really just saved the fucking year for them.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, he mentioned Helldivers too, but that was a given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he didn't really mention Stellar Blade. He didn't mention or did he? Wait, did he mention Stellar Blade?
I don't think so. Says Astrobot is a combination of PlayStation Studios. Let me see, extensive IP, live service title, single player, live service. Creativity in games, collaborate with. He says no. He says creativity and great games come from everywhere. We develop content with PlayStation Studios, but we also actively collaborate with external development studios. It's important to have a wide variety of games in our portfolio that can be enjoyed to provide fresh joy and experiences to PlayStation players. We are constantly reviewing the contents of our. No, so he did give kudos to the external stuff. He didn't name it though. But they did touch on third-party relationships.
He did?
Yeah.
But did he double down that he's gonna have even more?
They said our aim is to publish. The full statement is creativity and great games come from everywhere. We develop content within PlayStation Studios, but we also actively collaborate with external development studios. It is important to have a wide variety of games in our portfolio that can be enjoyed by all types of players. To provide fresh joy and experience to PlayStation players, we are constantly reviewing the contents of our portfolio and considering expanding the genres that are in demand and introducing new types of games. Our aim is to publish games from the world's best creators, both internal and external, and we have a lot of success by working closely with external development studios.
First of all, good job on Concord being the new genre that you tried. Very, very successful venture. And you can't even hide behind the fact it's a hero shooter. It didn't go well for you. No, Marvel Rivals absolutely embarrassed. Embarrassed you. Like completely.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody said, we don't want no more hero shooters. Well, I beg to differ.
Mm-hmm.
After Marvel Rivals, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Because, goddamn, they got already 20 million people playing that motherfucker.
Now, NetEase made that, right? Marvel Rivals.
Yup.
Well, there is a Bungie game that is being made by NetEase as well. So, maybe if they, here's what I think they should do. I think I'm okay with most of this on two conditions. Number one, when it comes to your multiplayer or games as a service efforts, that needs to be a separate thing that isn't affected by your single player budget. It needs to be its own budget, its own effort. You got your own resources. You don't have first party studios wasting too much time on it unless it's a games as a service, unless it's like a Bungie or something like that. Like, like Ben Studios shouldn't be making a games as a service title like that. That's dog shit to me. Like, to me, if there's a games as a service mode with a Ben Studios title, it should be made by one of these offset, but it should be made by somebody else, right? I'm okay with that if the games as a service shit is separate. What I do have a problem with is your pimping out of the IPs. That's just opening a can of worms that I just don't feel comfortable with, especially with Hiroki Totoki there. Lego Horizon, this fake ass Horizon game, and anything else, I cut that out. And I know Ice Cream Gaming she's going to yell at me in the chat, but my family loves it. I know, and it's a cool, it's a nice homage to the kids and stuff like that. But you're doing too much brand. It's too much reputational risk to the brand to continue to do stuff like that. Like, stop it. Cold Blood rejoins at 9 months and said, hit that like button and subscribe. Yes, definitely. Yeah, so I personally don't have a problem with what was being said, except for the live service stuff. I really need you to make sure that's separate. And then this IP shit, the experimental stuff, I really need you. Beyond maybe TV shows and shit like that, or secret level, shit like that. Beyond that, man, if you want to make a Lego Horizon game that's on PlayStation, and the reason why I say this, people think we want to keep games off other systems. No, when it comes to exclusives, except for Concord for some reason, when it comes to exclusives, PlayStation has a Q&A process, that ensures quality. And I think when you just pimp the IP to someone and you let them lead the charge, you get what you pay for. So it's very look at Mario. They should treat their IPs like how Nintendo treats Mario. Is there a Mario Rabbids game that they're doing and collaborate? Yeah, but Nintendo's in there lock and step with that motherfucker. And it's a Nintendo game. So I'm not saying you can't make cutesy kid games and collaborate with Lego for some shit, but the brand security needs to be a lot more intense. And it has nothing to do, all this stuff where I'm endorsing exclusivity and I'm like, you got to be careful before you spread shit everywhere. It's because parallel development is a motherfucker. For one, you're spreading your resources very thin when you do that shit. So you better know what you're doing. For two, there's a reason why PlayStation has a game damn well every year that's considered game of the year. There's a reason for that. When it goes through that PlayStation Q&A for quality assurance, there's nobody that can fuck with them except for maybe Rockstar. That's it. So,
Oh yeah, next year the Game Awards gonna be crazy if GTA 6 launches.
oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because after Red Dead Redemption 2 not winning, if they do that shit again this time,
Yeah.
and GTA 6 was not an absolute fucking dog shit game,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be like, okay, now we go from theory to actual facts. That motherfucker is in town with PlayStation, bro.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, GTA 5. Unless they completely fluff and fuck that up. Yeah, GTA 5 is destroying the world and shit. the world will come to a like literally call-off rates have never been this high on the planet Earth. Like 3% of the population showed up for work this week. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking PlayStation planes won't be in the air and shit. Like literally GTA 6 is going to destroy the world and shit. So, all right. So that's what we have for PlayStation. Yeah, I wanted to try to do something different because it's the New Year cold blood. I was going to just do 3, but if you have more than 3, fine. What are your 3, 4, 5, or however many? What were the biggest moments of 2024 to you? And I'm just bringing this for all of you that are listening. I'm just bringing this on my brother. So if you need me to go first, I can definitely go first. But if you just have 3, that's fine. But what are your top 3 or whatever? What are your top moments of 2024? Do you want me to go first?
Let me try.
Okay.
Definitely, one of my favorite moments of 2024 was when Broomstick said, "I might be a boob."
Call me a boob.
Bro, that was so funny.
Oh yeah, oh bro, I might be a boob.
Yo,
Yeah.
that day we had probably the longest
Your podcast, yeah.
the longest podcast just laughing, bro.
Oh shit.
That shit was funny. Jess Gordon telling everyone it's copium just to be proven wrong a month later.
Oh my god.
Yo, bro, Jess, probably the whole downfall of Jess in 2024. Him becoming a blogger all of a sudden.
Yeah. Oh,
he's no longer a journalist.
He's a blur. Hey, look, man, I'm just blogging here. I don't even work at Windows Central. I just found a Chromebook on the side of the building and just tapped into their internet and just started typing away. Yeah. No, I'm saying you're a blogger.
Wait. From the top of my head right now, getting harder now to find some shit that was a highlight. I mean, unless you mean game wise, but that would be.
Yeah, you can include games too.
We did that already before the New Year. We already did that. There's a podcast for that.
Mm-hmm.
Help me out here. What did happen besides Xbox absolutely shitting the bed last year?
I mean, that's the story. That's why I said I could, we can go with 3. You know what I mean? Because that's the story of 2024, in my opinion. It's just Xbox shitting the bed, bro, and waving a white flag. Like, can you imagine 2023 the way it was closing out? And, post up, giving all of his soliloquies. Yeah. Can you imagine the ABK deal means that Xbox is now going to ride high to the sun?
Oh my God. The regret of the ABK deal.
Yeah.
The immediate regret of the ABK deal.
Yes.
Yo, these motherfuckers been fighting. On Twitter, bro. They've been fighting that shit. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be great for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Just to find out, Game Pass price hike. Game Pass for console no longer having day-and-date games.
Yeah. Yep.
No more Microsoft rewards, shit points, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least nerfed to oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, when they took away the fucking points,
bro. The regret that was setting in afterwards was so funny to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody was probably right. It was not a good idea. I wish it never happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before that, they all been fucking lawyers and shit.
Oh my God.
We don't even hear shit from Post Up anymore, do we?
Yeah. Post Up is gone. Post Up is he's
like he completely gave up.
He went on an Uber Eats trip and just parked the car in a parking lot. He's still sobbing right now. Lulu, come back. That motherfucker, bro. Oh man. And y'all don't understand. Shout out to Tim. I wish Tim was here. Tim will tell you. I used to battle that motherfucker in the DMs. I'm like, bro, this is not going to go the way that you think it is. Oh, shut up. I got my law degree off of Google. This is going to be fantastic. And I'm like, bruh. Now, again, Tim was battling me too. But, Tim was doing his rah Xbox thing. This motherfucker literally, bro, he just knew. Post. He knew this was going to turn the gaming world upside down. He was on all them podcasts. Yeah, they done woke up the beast. That's probably the second best saying after Bruce sticks up a boob. They done woke up the beast. Oh my God, bro. You try to tell these people. You try to tell them. And they don't want to listen. Because they're not basing anything off of logic at all. But yeah, that was it. That was a funny moment. A comical moment.
Oh yeah, reading comprehension was also.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
A funny highlight.
And that one, go ahead.
No, you don't understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Your reading comprehension is so bad.
Yeah.
they are talking about the Call of Duty, the Overwatch, and Elder Scrolls Online. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not talking about no Hi-Fi Rush or whatever else. Our greatest game of 2023. They're not talking about that. Just to find out later, anybody that was just literally taking the words as they are were the ones with the right reading comprehension, huh? And you motherfuckers just in your delusion. I don't know what the fuck you come up with, but yo, it was so bad for them. It was so bad. He told them that in 2023. But I'm accounted as a highlight in 2024 because that's when all that shit happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Only 4 games. Yeah, right. What about Indiana Jones, huh? Only 4 games? Oh, bro. Jeff is a motherfucker for that one. Machine Games has one more thing to share with you. But he is the one looking at the screen, not Machine Games coming out and telling everybody. No, he's looking at the screen like, and there you have it. Oh, these
I knew
bots
it.
were so. These bots were so pissed, bro. I loved it. I loved that moment, bro.
I knew
Summer
it.
Game Fest might have been dog shit, but that one moment, bro. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they had a meltdown, bro.
Oh my god. What else happened? Well, you know, it all kicked off with the rumor that that Indiana Jones and Starfield and shit was coming over, and that started the Civil War. And that's what made Tim bow out. So the Tim bow out and the Tim spaces. Tim, you need to bring back them spaces, bro. The Tim spaces that was happening and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And fucking you had IGN and Games Over Greg and Jeff Keighley joined it, not joined it, but listening in on the spaces and shit. Oh yeah, hashtag Tim Dog is going. I think it was that was trending on Twitter. You know, Tim Dog left, and people was like, "Who is Tim Dog?" Yeah, yep. And shout out to my brother. I think we did make that interview public. We did. We made the Tim Dog interview public, right? I think we did. Let me look. If not, then we got to do that next week. Let me go to the homepage. Yeah, but I tell you that. Yeah, that was another big moment when Tim Dog bailed ship. And really, that all that needed to be was the moment that Xbox gamers realized that it's time for us to give up. That's what that should have signified. Hold on, let me do here. Tim Dog. Okay, lobby talk, sneak peek. Oh, I don't think I have. I can't even find the motherfucker. I gotta look for it. That's interesting. Review. Okay, I'll go look for it and see it. It looks like we didn't make it public, so I'll fix that. But yeah, man, that happened. I remember I was going to jump on one of those spaces, and then something happened at the last minute, and I didn't jump on. But I was going to jump on one of those spaces. That was so funny. Yeah, we got. Hold on, let me see here. The 180 of
Uni, bro, on Twitter. is
Oh
also
my
funny.
God, yeah, that was.
He-
My goodness.
He hates every single motherfucker on the Xbox.
And when he came after Post Up, that was another one. Secretly in the DMs, we were cracking up when Uni was going after. We were cracking up. Oh shit. Goddamn. How about the moment that Xbox the moment that Xbox when Phil did the interview with Jazz and said, yeah, Game Pass games aren't coming to any other platform. You know, we have no plans, and everybody thought that meant exclusives too. I mean, or first party games weren't coming either. It was that one. Can't forget PlayStation either. PlayStation Concord. Oh my God. That was a disaster. I think that should have been the wake up call to Herman Hulse. If that's not a wake up call to him, I don't know what else is. But the Concord disaster, which should have been seen a mile away.
I mean, just look at the announcement trailer, bro. Like, people were absolutely upset.
God. Oh my God.
No, but another one. No, another funny one was Hold the Line.
Oh yeah. I think that kind of start 2023 though, but yeah, they continued that one. Yeah,
bro. King David had such a meltdown over the whole year. And his cronies, bro, they also just can't believe what the fuck is happening.
Hold on one second.
I think that they're still shocked. Oh, Michael, did you just lose your membership? Why don't you have a?
Okay.
Why don't you have a symbol?
Sorry about that.
I think Michael just canceled his subscription.
Oh, he did. Oh, he did. He said, yeah, he did. I can tell. Yeah, it looks like he canceled his subscriptions. So yeah, what else did we have? I actually gotta. We're gonna have to end at 10. I thought we had till 4:30,
But is it also funny how with Kids Move it was fuck Xbox and now it's back to licking Xbox?
Oh
ass?
yeah. He can't help himself, man. He's indoctrinated to yeah. Like
him selling his PS5.
yeah. He's selling this
Just like
PS5 now. Yeah, come on, man. Like you didn't once sell your Xbox? Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on. And you got a PC too. Xbox doesn't even want you on their console like that. If you're a hardcore gamer like that, they don't want to see a seismic shift. But you hardcore motherfuckers, yeah, go to PC. They don't even want you there, but you sell the thing that has the great games on it. Like, yeah.
You know why he's doing it? Because he gets review copies.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why he's doing it.
Yeah, I know that's definitely a huge part of it, if not the number one reason. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was just a crazy year for Xbox. One of the most pivotal years. I think the biggest story though is the ABK regret. I mean, you could say it was the pivot to multiplat, but the pivot doesn't happen unless there's regret over ABK. That's what started all this. So, crazy stuff. In actuality, because my plumbing is getting worse now, I can actually smell shit. I gotta go snake. I gotta get this snaked out ASAP. Yeah, let's close this out now. And we'll, like I said, we'll be back as soon on a more frequent basis as soon as my schedule clears up. And definitely we're dropping videos like the video that you guys were previewing earlier today. Let's check it out if you want to hear it again. Check it out tomorrow, or you can rewatch it again on the podcast, or you can check it out tomorrow. It'll be airing at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And again, we want to thank you guys for joining us and checking us out and sticking with us, despite the several changes. Let's end this.
Can you see Old Man Guru's comment?
He says, "Why can't MM see my comments? YouTube got me shadow banned or something?" No, there's so many comments at times. Old Man Guru, what you want to do is if you got something that you want me to read, if you're not just chatting in the what's it called, at me, just at MM2K and I'll see it. Or at MM2K News.
Comment.
Because yeah, there's so many comments out. Is it as toilet as the functionality of a Series S? Yeah, I'm smelling stuff now. I'm like, yeah, I gotta take care of this shit. Literally.
Bro, but what the turnout today, right? Like,
yeah.
Holy
Excellent.
shit.
Yeah. Well, they missed us. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And also, if you become a member, remember you can become a member for just $3.99. Our memberships are different. Like if you gift a membership, it's $5 because that's what YouTube requires. They don't let you go any lower. But if you want to fund your own membership, you can do so at $3.99 and you'll get access to all the stuff, the same stuff. Great content we put out there regularly. And what we did today is if you want to see that video today, instead of waiting until tomorrow, we made it a members first. So members get to see it now. So if you become a member, you get to watch that video. And then we have endless content. Like yesterday when I talked about Black Myth Wukong and I was breaking down, how the journalists are handling the story. I didn't really name too many names. I did say Jazz and I did say Paul, but I didn't really get into all of the things that they've done wrong. And I really didn't get into why Windows Central separated themselves from Jazz, believe it or not. They separated themselves from Jazz in regards to how they wanted to cover and talk about this thing. A lot of people didn't realize that or notice that. I deep dive into that in the podcast yesterday, but it's a members podcast, so you definitely want to check that out. Had a little bit of time yesterday before I had to actually physically go into work, so we deep dive that. Check that out. And if you're not a member, just hit that join button. You could just, if you're self-funding, join at the $3.99 level, which is Foamy Homie. At the Foamy Homie level, you'll get access to everything. All right. We appreciate everybody coming through. Cobra, do you have any final thoughts or any final words before we get out of here? I gotta clean up this shit.
Just remember, clean your toilet.
No, seriously.
So you don't have to smell shit.
I mean, if you guys own a home and I'm out in the woods, so there's a lot of shit that gets, you got to treat your septic system. This is me. This is totally on me. And my brother-in-law was telling me what to do. So like, he kept telling me, he said, man, get some fucking baking soda, drop it in that septic drain, pour some white vinegar in there. It flushes that shit out. He said, do that every month. And I was like, yeah, right. And I didn't do it. We've been here for 3 years and the shit finally backed up. So literally the shit backed up. So now I got to go down here in this basement and we have a big snowstorm. So my plumber guy isn't here because he was supposed to be snaking it. He came by, he was like, oh, I got to go get my tools, and never came back because he got stuck somewhere. And it's getting worse. And the snow is melting in the pipes, and it's raising the shit up, literally. So I got to get out here. I got to suck up all this shit. So yeah, again, I don't want to throw anybody. I don't want to make anybody throw up. Let me get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Make sure you take care of your septic tanks. And don't buy any more Xboxes, please. All right. With that said, we appreciate everybody. Till next time, y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.